Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars figure review. Today we're going to take a look at a really cool figure from the Black Series 6-inch line, and in today's review we are going to take a look, and I'm going to show you the packaging for this guy first, at the HasCon exclusive Black Series 6-inch Clone Captain Rex. Now I'm giving you a look at the packaging first just because it's a little bit different, a little bit unique, and if you guys have been watching any of my reviews for the last few weeks or last few months, then you'll know I'm sick and tired of the standard Black Series 6-inch packaging. So to get something in hand which is new, refreshing and exciting, it's a milestone. So I wanted to give you a look at this first. Before we jump into the review itself, I'd like to extend a huge thanks and a shout out to a good friend of mine and fellow Instagram user Stu, who goes by the name Eggman Studios. And let me tell you, if you're not following Stu on Instagram already, then be sure to do so because you're missing out if not. He's a very talented toy and action figure photographer. He lives in the UK, so he's always the first to post about what new stock is arriving in stores. And he's just a really cool guy. And he was more than happy, and I'm more than grateful, that he was able to pick up one of these figures when it was made available to UK collectors via the Forbidden Planet booth at MCM Comic Con, which took place a couple of months ago at the time of filming this review. So again, a huge thanks goes out to him, and you'll find a link to all his social channels down below in the video description. So go check out his stuff, some very cool work on those pages, and again, a huge thanks goes out to Stu. So, onto the figure. Now, as I said, we're going to take a look at the packaging first. While it is new and exciting and refreshing, it is designed in the same vein as some of the previous exclusives from the 6-inch line. The packaging itself is very similar to the San Diego Comic Con exclusive First Order Stormtrooper and Jyn Erso from The Force Awakens and Rogue One respectively, in the sense that you've got this sleeve that covers the packaging, and then when you slide that off, you've got the figure inside. Now, the design of the packaging is really nice. I love the colour scheme. I think it really pops. You've got this blue colour scheme, obviously in the vein of the 501st Legion, which Captain Rex belongs to. On the front there, you've got the Black Series logo. You've also got an image of Captain Rex in the bottom corner. Now you'll also notice these subtle details on the front of the sleeve. You've got those tally marks, which are, or kill marks, I should say, which Captain Rex has all the way across his armour, and we'll get a good look at some of those later on in this review. On one side of the box you've got the Republic emblem with Captain Rex's name just below. On the other side you've got a lengthy bio about the character, which again you'll find in the video description. And then on the back you've got these really cool die cut J guys, which are of course the markings that appear on Captain Rex's helmet. And when you slide off the sleeve, you'll see that you can see through those. There's a die cut, which is really cool. So really nice packaging. And I'll admit, at war with myself as to whether or not to keep this guy packaged, because the really cool thing about this is that when you slide that sleeve off, inside you've got a tray which is exposed, and you can see the figure and all the accessories that are included with it. So that is really cool. Once again, you've got the Captain Rex name and Republic symbol. You've got the Black Series logo in the corner, and on the edge of that packaging you've got Rex pictured once again. So really nice packaging, really well put together, really nice looking. More of this please, Hasbro. You all know my gripes with the current Black Series packaging for the standard line, so I'd love to see something like this a little bit more often with the 6-inch figures. But very cool packaging indeed, and a great figure all round. Now, one thing to point out with this figure is that the exclusive and the standard release have a few differences. The standard release will be available in spring 2018, I believe, and there are a couple of differences between the exclusive from HasCon and also the standard release that will come in a few months' time, and I'll touch base on some of those throughout this review. So enough talk, enough packaging, enough shout outs. Let's get on to this figure, and let me tell you, he's a beauty. Really nice figure indeed. I'm absolutely blown away with this guy. Again, one of Hasbro's best 6-inch figures today, in my opinion. I know I say that about a lot of figures, but you know, it's always impossible to really predict whether the next figure is going to be better or worse than the previous. So, you know, it's easy to say at the moment that this is one of the best 6-inch figures available. Really nice in terms of deco, sculpt, accessories, detail. This one just ticks all the boxes, and I'm really impressed with it. And as a huge fan of Clone Troopers and the Clone Wars animated series, this is a long overdue addition to the 6-inch collection. Now I'm going to touch base on articulation first, and then we're going to talk about some of the features, the accessories and details of the figure. So right off the bat, we do have a ball joint and a hinge at the neck. You'll notice the helmet is removable, so I'll go into detail about that in a moment. So you can look up, down, all around. You've got hinges at the shoulders, double joints at the elbows, which I love because you can get this guy in some really cool poses. You've got hinges at the wrists as well, a ball joint at the torso, hinges at the hips, swivels at the upper thigh, double joints in the knees, and double joints and a rocker at the ankle. So every position that you could expect a clone trooper to want to get in, he pretty much can. One thing I also failed to point out on a number of my Clone Trooper 6-inch figure reviews in the past is a swivel at the bicep. I always miss that one because it's really well hidden under all that armour, but he does have a swivel at the upper arm as well. So great articulation, pretty much what we've come to expect from most of the 6-inch line. And again, detail and accessories are not to be sniffed at either. Now, as I mentioned, the exclusive and the standard release do share a couple of differences. The first of which being the fact that I believe the standard release won't include the DC-15 and the DC-15S carbine. I think it's just the DC-17 pistols that we'll get with the regular retail release of Captain Rex, which isn't a major issue, to be honest. You know, Captain Rex very rarely uses these other two weapons throughout the Clone Wars animated show. So to not get those with our figures, not a major problem. So for those of you that missed out on the exclusive, that's all you're really going to be missing out on, to be honest. That and a new paint application on the head, which again I'll go into more detail about in a moment. So articulation wise, he's absolutely top notch. As you can see, if we come down the bottom of the figure, we do get a soft goods or cloth camer, which again really assists that posability. It doesn't hinder any of the articulation, doesn't get in the way of any of that posability, which is awesome. You've got the holsters there on the belt, which of course store the DC-17 pistols. And of course you do have that very cool removable helmet. Now, I do believe this is the first clone trooper in the 6-inch line to feature a removable helmet. I'll go into detail about the helmet itself in a moment, but I really want to give you a look at the head sculpt that's underneath, because this is just a mind blower. The likeness to Temuera Morrison is absolutely on point on this figure. I think it's great. Obviously, Temuera Morrison is the actor who portrays Jango Fett and the Clone Troopers in the prequel trilogy, and with this being a realistic rendition of Captain Rex from the animated series, obviously his likeness was the one to use, and it looks superb. I can't stress to you enough how cool this looks in person. I thought they did a good job with Jango Fett's head sculpt in the 6-inch line, but this just trumps it in so many ways. The head itself is a little bit smaller, but the detail and again the likeness, absolutely on point. It's so lifelike, it's unbelievable. Really, really good. Now, with regards to the exclusive, this is just a regular head sculpt with regular paint applications, whereas I believe the standard release that we'll see in a few months' time that will be available at retail features the brand new paint technique that Hasbro will start to apply to their figures in the new year, which we got a glimpse at, I want to say New York Toy Fair or Comic Con or something like that, but we saw the Resistance outfit Rey from the 6-inch line, and we saw that she had this sort of ultra realistic head sculpt, and that's down to this new paint technique that Hasbro will start using, which I don't know the ins and outs of it, to be honest, but it's just a new technique to apply paint to the head sculpts just to make sure they look ultra realistic. But to be honest, I don't really know how you can improve upon perfection, because to me this head sculpt is spot on. So Hasbro have really got to do something ultra impressive to top this. But yeah, a great head sculpt, absolutely top notch. And as you can see, this guy does feature, of course, Captain Rex's trademark short blonde hair, which looks fantastic. The helmet itself is a really nice snug fit as well, and as you can see, it does feature Captain Rex's Phase 2 helmet design, which does feature those weld marks on the helmet. You've got the J guys at the top, the rangefinder of course, and those kill marks on the side of the helmet, which look really, really nice. Now, the rangefinder is posable, which is really cool. This is something that was missing from Jango and Boba Fett, so I'm glad to see that has finally made its way onto a 6-inch figure. Again, you'll see more of those kill marks on Captain Rex's forearm, on his gauntlets and on his hands as well. You've got some additional weld marks on the armour. Again, just to really hammer home the point that Captain Rex has been through the wars, the Clone Wars to be exact. The figure itself also features its fair share of weathering as well. I'm not entirely sure how well it's going to translate on camera, because shiny white figures are usually quite difficult to review in terms of the detail, but this one just looks fantastic. You've got dirt, you've got grime, you've got carbon scoring. You've just got an immense amount of weathering and detail on this figure, especially around the belt, on the torso, on the legs, more kill marks down there. Just stunning detail, stunning sculpt, and just a great figure. I really cannot stress to you enough how cool this one is. If you're a fan of Captain Rex, you're a fan of the Clone Wars, this is a must-have for the collection. This figure has been rumoured for a number of years now, I think since around 2014. So to finally see it in person in the 6-inch line is fantastic, and I can't recommend this figure enough. Again, if you weren't lucky enough to pick up the exclusive, don't panic, because a regular retail version is coming, minus a couple of accessories and a couple of other differences. But if it's the character you're bothered about, he's on his way, and I'll update those links in the video description where you can purchase this one for yourself. At the time of filming this review, I don't have a link to be able to purchase the exclusive, so your best bet is probably the secondary market, to be honest, where he'll fetch a hefty premium. But at the time of filming this review, I'm pretty sure Forbidden Planet still have a couple in stock on their online store, so I'll throw a link in there to this figure if it's still available, so you can check it out if you're in the UK. So again, really cool figure, highly recommended. This guy looks absolutely stunning. One other really cool thing about this one as well, and some people may take this away from the figure as a negative, but to me it's great, is the fact that the shoulder pauldron is actually either glued or sculpted to the shoulders, so it doesn't flop around, it doesn't move, it doesn't hinder too much articulation either, which is fantastic. And again, yeah, this figure, pure perfection, really well done. So kudos to Steve Evans and the Hasbro team for putting together one hell of a gem of an action figure. So I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at this guy. I really hope you've enjoyed the review. This figure did win a recent poll on my Twitter feed as to which figure you wanted to see reviewed next on my channel. Rex won by a landslide, but he was up there against Jaina Solo and Fen Rao from Star Wars Rebels. So we're going to take a look at those two figures in my next review. But in the meantime, once again, thank you for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, a huge thanks goes out to Eggman Studios over on Instagram and Twitter for picking up this figure for me. You're an absolute star, mate. And again, check out his work if you haven't already done so. So really cool figure, highly recommended. Definitely a cool one for the collection. A few Clone Trooper addicts out there, you're going to want to track this one down. So again, thank you for watching this review, guys. I'll be back with some more very soon. Until then, as always, thank you for watching, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.